Hello.
Hi.
We're on screen now.
Yeah, we're learning.
Our first one didn't have video, but we've upgraded
We're learning.
and into our space, which is really nice.
Yeah. We renovated this wall ourselves.
Yeah,
so
I didn't, but you did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I had help.
Look at the cut-ins.
Yeah.
So we thought coming on video would be a bit more personal. You'll get to see our faces. And I mean, you can see us on TikTok, Instagram.
You can enjoy my many facial reactions.
On there. Yeah, and now.
In here. All right. Let's kick off.
Yeah. Thought of the week.
Thought of the week.
Yeah.
You go first. You know I've got lots of thoughts.
Yeah, so my thought of the week was this morning. And I go for a walk every morning around my neighbourhood. And at that time of morning, usually it's older people walking their dogs. And every time I walk past, and it's the same people every morning, we stop, say hello, and ask how they are. And I thought that was a really nice, it's my thought of the week because that could really impact someone's day, which it does impact my day.
100%.
Just asking someone how they are.
100%.
Yeah.
I think I always have said to you, and I talk about it in leadership and management, but time is the most valuable thing you can give someone because you never get it back. So if you can give someone a hello, a smile, whatever it is, you just don't know the impact that will have on someone. So yeah, I think it's huge.
Absolutely. And people are going through their own stuff every day. And just for you to stop and give them a bit of time, could mean the world.
I feel like this needs to be a little higher for me to lean on.
Yeah, that sounds sort of
on a lean. Anyway.
Yeah. What's yours?
My thought of what's really just today, and I'm sure there'll be more thoughts for the rest of the day and the week, but I thought this morning, why can't boys just have periods instead of girls? Because...
And all know what it feels like.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, I am very, very lucky in my normal menstrual cycle. Yeah. But I understand. Well, I don't understand how you feel because
for everyone that doesn't know, I have endometriosis, and so it is an exhausting experience.
Yeah.
And time
every month.
But yeah, I just want them to feel it.
Just once.
Yeah, just see what it's like.
Yeah. And I mean, if a man experiences the man flu, you could only imagine. But we're not here to talk about
We're not here to hate on men. We love men.
We love them very much.
Yeah. We need to get over themselves a little bit.
All right. So what are we going to talk about today?
I think we talk about some common misconceptions.
Yeah.
Because I think as women in business, we face it in this industry that we work in, we face it. And I also think, just personally, I face it.
Yeah.
And probably you too. I think you don't give a shit as much as me. People probably like you a little bit more.
We can talk about it. All right. So we have written a list. So I apologise for looking at my phone, but we'll go into business, general business first, and misconceptions. And you can probably talk a bit more about this than me because obviously you're an owner, but I have walked alongside you for a long time, so I definitely can have input. So the first thing is age and owning a business and the misconception around that.
I've got a real gripe with it.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about why? I even think you might have touched on it in the first.
Yeah, maybe. I think that there is still a misconception or a stigma or a belief that people that are younger don't have any idea what they're doing in business. And it's really disappointing because I was someone who started in business when I was in my 20s, and I also had worked in quite some high level roles very early on, like when I was very young. So I've had exposure to things, and I think you always continue to learn, but people just make an assumption because you're young. How could you possibly
own a business?
And it really fucks me off.
Yeah.
And I have got great skin.
She's not in her 20s, believe it or not.
I'm 35. This last year, I'm 36 this year. Shut the fuck up. I'm not saying that.
40. I'm 30.
We're not. So I'm 35. But like people often, and you are with me a lot when it happens to, think that I'm in my 20s, and then I think that just contributes to it.
And I'm going to tie this into the industry a little bit, because I think that's the same conception, where I think maybe over the last couple of years you do see younger management coming into providers and the industry we work in, but you still do feel like you're being judged if you're on a meeting with older people around, they think you don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, it really annoys me.
Yeah. And why do you think people have that misconception? Like, what are the, say, 3 main points of that? Like, just age, number one, because you don't have the experience.
Honestly, maybe this is an unpopular opinion, but my opinion is that I just think people have closed minds. Like, it's closed mindset. It's an old, like, out of date mindset where people, like, it's narrow minded. Like, if you think you can't learn something from anyone, absolutely anyone, in any situation, well, then you're the dumbest person in the room. Then you're wrong. Because it just these days there is so much information so widely available to everyone at any age, and there's negatives and positives to that, but if you don't think you can't learn something from someone younger than you or older than you, like,
and that's interesting, because is it with our generation and younger, and like you see influencers earning millions and millions of dollars, is it social media, the internet, the progression of the internet, do you think that has had an impact on younger people being able to have that success earlier because they've got the resources?
I think that's an even deeper question, because for me, I think there's also a level of drive, willingness to learn, and like, I guess, personal attributes that people need to have to be successful. Because I do think that with information so readily available and things at our fingertips these days, people expect results overnight or results really quickly in a number of different things, and that's just not how it works. So if I think there is someone young that has got some of those, attributes that contribute to success, like, resilience, integrity, respect, a willingness to learn, like all these different, you could list heaps, and then use that information that they have available. I think absolutely people who are younger have more opportunity than some of us did when we were younger, for sure.
Yeah.
But if someone thinks they can just sit there and it'll just happen for them, then no.
Yeah, interesting. We could probably talk about that in another episode. But the next one is that business is easy. So you just get to boss people around and sit up in your chair, come into work late, you can take whatever you want off.
Yeah, that is all incorrect.
Yeah. And do you know anyone, because I feel like you know quite a lot of business owners, just naturally networking in your family, friends, etc., because that's who you surround yourself with. Do you think anyone has it like that?
No. Not anyone that's like in even their first 10 years of business.
Yeah.
Like, I know someone that's been in business for an extremely long time and now, travels the world and does what he wants to do. And that's really cool. But was it always like that for him? Absolutely not. Like, has there been times where he has, like, been bankrupt? Yeah, more than once. Like, but he got back up and tried again. So, it's definitely none of those things. It's hard. It's lonely. Your friendship group changes. You outgrow people. People don't want to see you succeed that you thought were your friends. And you've changed, but you haven't. You're just on a different level. So yeah.
And I think this sort of ties into the next part where people just think business owners have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And I particularly think in this, like when I think about this, my dad, because he owned businesses, but he was also working a full-time job.
Yeah.
Just to survive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I think that's what people don't realise is a lot of people that start small businesses are like still working like a normal job and then might have a side hustle.
Yeah.
And that's what they're trying to...
stream of income's coming in elsewhere.
They've got different things. Even, we're launching something new here and you literally said to me yesterday, it's just wild when you stop and think, like, this is how small businesses start. Like, we're sitting here packing this.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, and it's taking me way longer than I wanted to.
In a small closed off corner.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like not even like you think of big like workshops or like in the industrial area. You've got this manufacturing thing, but no, that's not how it works.
I've just got this little space under a desk.
And it's like a table this big.
Yeah. So yeah, I think no. And a lot of business owners reinvest, particularly in their early years, reinvest money into the business. I know the first year of business, I lost money. I didn't pay myself a wage for, I think, nearly 2 years. So, like, I had to find other streams of income. But no one knows that. So it's just...
Yeah. And I think people think, as you said, they reinvest into the business, but I think a misconception is a lot of people that just think you spend the money that comes in.
Yeah.
And
I wish.
You don't.
I wish.
And you usually pay, as you said, you didn't in the first 2 years, but you usually pay yourself a wage.
Yeah.
And it's maybe not as much as others.
Yeah. I know I was the least paid employee. So RLS has been operating for like 5 years now. And I was the least paid employee until 2 years ago.
Just to get through.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'm still not the highest paid employee. Just FYI.
What are you doing now?
Which is fine. But, that's decisions you make. And I'm okay with that right now because I can see long-term picture. Yeah. If you can hear like a snoring sound, there's a pug in here. He's
quite loud.
Very tired. Very
big
tired.
day.
Yeah, always big days.
All right, and the next one is that you're lucky. You got into business just because you're lucky.
Yeah.
Triggered.
Yeah. People say all the time, oh, you're so lucky. And you know what? Like, I think, to be fair, I say things like, I'm so lucky we both say, so lucky to have the team we've got.
Yeah.
Things like that. But when you stop and actually break it down, like, yeah, we're lucky, but fuck, we work hard.
Absolutely.
Like, we've worked really hard to build a culture a team environment and a space where like people belong, people want to be, and no one wants to mess with that.
No, and we protect it at all costs.
Yeah, 100%.
Because, it would, just one person and you would have the stat of how quickly it takes for someone to ruin.
It's like 30 days.
Yeah.
30 days, one person, or between 7 to 30 days. It's like something crazy where literally one person can ruin everything.
Yeah. So that's definitely a misconception.
Like imagine working for however many years and it just been awesome and then just get one bad egg. It's like when they say like if you got like a bowl of fruit and then you just like got a rotten orange in there and it rots everything else.
I hate that.
Yeah.
We're not going to let that happen. Okay. Now we're going to go into the industry, and this is probably going to be my favorite thing to talk about because there are so many misconceptions, and I think on different levels. So people from the outside looking in. Different roles in the industry. So you've got like different levels, obviously, in any business. You've got management and then people that work on the ground, and then stakeholders as well who are in different types of roles in the field.
There's people everywhere.
Yeah. But the first one, again, that it's easy. This gets me going. I'm going to comment on these ones because I get really passionate about this. I mean, we've both been in the industry for a while now, but I've seen it from youth into disability and mental health, and people just think you're just hanging out. It's fun. It is hard.
Yeah.
It is really hard.
It's not going to the movies. It's not like, sure, you get to do that stuff sometimes. Like,
absolutely.
You might
but it doesn't mean you're sitting there enjoying the movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I fucking hate
you're
horror movies.
On edge because you don't know if someone is going to.
I hate horror movies and I have to go to one.
Honestly. But you're also making sure you can emotionally regulate someone or co-regulate with someone. It doesn't mean you're still working. You're not just sitting there getting to enjoy the movie. And sometimes you do. It depends on the person.
To be fair, if I went to the movies, I'd probably fall asleep. But not on the job. No, but it is. Like, people think, like, you're getting paid to go to a theme park for the day. And sure, like, sometimes that is
the
case, but the majority of the work is hard.
Yeah.
It is working with people that we're trying to build capacity, we're trying to teach skills, we're trying to increase economic participation and social participation. We're dealing with extreme levels of anxiety, behaviours and disabilities that are just so misunderstood or people in the community are so uneducated about. And I don't mean that disrespectfully to the wider public.
Yeah.
You don't know what you don't know. But there are so many complexities, and those complexities can just be in one person.
Yeah.
And, you could spend years advocating to help one person, and then you see a change.
It's not an overnight change, and I think that's probably another misconception is a lot of people come into the industry thinking they can make big change overnight, and they usually don't last long because that is not the case whatsoever.
And it's not just like people are being naughty because they're being naughty. Like, it's genuinely not understanding, or it's people coming from like heavy trauma-based backgrounds of things that you just couldn't even imagine, and they're things that we don't hear about in the public because, or the majority of the public don't hear about because some things just shouldn't be heard because it's horrific.
And or it's being protected due to the person being under the government with guardianship or whatever that looks like.
But like, imagine, obviously the things that we experience or hear about that people have been through. Imagine if everybody knew all of that just every day. It's like it's very hard to compartmentalize and to, I guess, to some respect, disassociate with some of the things you hear and know, because it is really difficult to even think that human beings can do other things to human beings and how that then results in a person.
I explained it to someone the other day, or maybe it was over the Christmas holidays, about remember COVID and us watching the news article, like the news every morning when the Premier would come on and announce, and we were like, we just can't take this anymore.
Yeah,
that's what it feels like, hearing different stories every day, reading incident reports, supporting stuff. It's like a lot at a time.
Yeah.
And you don't understand it till you're in it.
Yeah.
You don't.
And it's not just like, oh, I'm just going to pull someone into line.
Yeah. No, it doesn't work like that.
If it was like that, then, well, there wouldn't be people that need help.
Yeah.
Because everyone would just be walking around living their happy lives. But it is so rewarding.
Absolutely.
It is one of the most rewarding industries you will ever work in, but make no mistake.
Yeah.
It is difficult and it requires resilience and heart and empathy and compassion and continuing to show up for people even when they don't like you.
Yeah.
Because the amount of things we get called every week when all we do is be nice. But we continue to show up for people, and that is what matters.
And I think a lot of people would struggle with that.
Yeah.
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 That, like, you getting called a fuckhead or even just those minor things and having to go back the next day. And we have seen it with some staff that we've taken on and they just couldn't knack it.
Get told that you do nothing and you're useless and you don't help me and you know, whatever else. And you're like, man, I just hung out all your washing.
Yeah.
I just cooked all your meals.
Yeah.
Or like,
and we've advocated for you
we've just
to get more funding or whatever that looks like.
We've just been hanging out for 4 hours. Why don't you like me now?
Or we've housed you when you had nowhere to go.
Yeah.
So that can be really difficult. Yeah. And it's very difficult not to take it personal.
Yeah. Absolutely.
This one is interesting. So the different types of roles, I suppose, in real life skills, so where we are and where we're working, the misconception of management.
Yeah, and I think because we've worked in every role, like from support worker, case managers, like all different, stuff. People think management's just a crazy job or working in the office is just
fun.
It's
easy.
Like, we just do TikTok.
Yeah.
But it's not. Like,
no.
I would say, like, this, I've worked some different office jobs in other industries and, like, sales, retail, hospitality, you name it. But this office is the most fast-paced, crisis-driven, silent office I've ever worked in.
I've never heard all those words into one sentence or to describe something, but it's true.
It's spot on.
You look at the time, you get here at 7, all of a sudden it's 3:30.
Yeah.
And you don't know what you've done.
It's kind of good.
It is good.
Like,
I appreciate that.
The workday goes quick.
Yeah.
But in general, sometimes, like, if you weren't running like a well planned out calendar, you'd have no idea what you've done for the day.
No. Yeah. But I enjoy it. Anyway, that's a huge misconception. And our calendars are very tight. Yeah,
I feel like one time we'll show you.
Yeah, we might insert it here. We'll see what we can do.
I don't know if we've got that skill.
All right. Providers and agencies are the bad guys.
Yeah, I hate this one.
Yeah.
I hate that because we're a registered provider. As the NDIS and disability space has changed a lot over the years, and I think it needed to. But I hate that all registered providers just get put into like a bad basket because, and I know it's going to sound biased if we say it, but I think we are one of the best registered providers on for a number of different reasons. But like we're heavily regulated, heavily regulated. And I'm not
and that's
saying,
the reason why we're so busy every day.
Yeah.
One of the reasons.
And I'm not saying that like all registered providers are the best thing since sliced bread, because there are some shitty ones.
Yeah.
But there's also shitty independents. There's also shitty non-registered ones. But there's also really good independents, and there's also really good non-registered ones. Like it just sucks when you see registered providers just as a thing be put into a box, and you're just like, hey, get me out of there.
Yeah. And it's definitely not the case. And we know a lot of really good providers.
Yeah.
We work
100%.
closely with quite a lot. So,
independents as well.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
know some really great independents and we'll recommend them. I know some really great non-registered providers, and we work with all of them.
And the NDIS have really recognised that recently.
Do you know what else I think is a common misconception? That the industry is like super collaborative.
Yeah.
It's not
huge. It's not at all.
No.
It's really hard to find. We're very lucky, but it's really hard to find providers that are willing to be collaborative and will be loyal. Yeah.
Like everyone's just looking
and have your back.
Yeah, everyone's just looking to copy like the next like thing they think's the best thing. Like if everyone just stopped for a second and just like supported, like if someone's like, oh yeah, that's a real good idea, I'm just going to take my people there, it'd just be a better place. Whereas it's so, everyone's just out for themselves, and everyone very much just wants to, like it's so competitive. Yeah. It's so frustrating because there's enough work for everyone.
And it doesn't make sense because we work in an industry where you're very accepting of someone.
Yeah.
You're supportive of them. Everyone's meant to have the same goal when it comes to that one participant. Yeah. But
it's one thing I don't get.
And it's a real shame because if people were more collaborative, everyone could really make a difference.
Yeah, because it only affects like the participants. Because like you've seen, like we've run events collaboratively with like 2 other providers, and it'll be a social event, and we'll get 100 people there. Whereas like you do on your own, you get 10. Like it's wild. Yeah. Like so it's just the power of community is huge, and I think it's not as prevalent as what I think people think.
Yeah.
And it's also what I think it should be. It's not there.
I think we could talk about it for hours.
Yeah, I can talk about it for a lot of hours.
Okay, now we're going to go into personal misconceptions, and I think we'll start with you. So, I think a misconception or people misunderstand how you're opinionated.
Yep.
Why do you think that is? Or do you know that? Is that something you've recognised?
That people think I'm opinionated.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know people know that. Because I openly say that.
Yeah.
I think my line is, here's my opinion and you didn't ask for. Yeah, I think some people like it. I think some people don't.
I think it really depends on the person and if they're willing to take on that opinion or they're open to opinions.
I think probably like the most common misconception around my opinionatedness is that people who are maybe not ready for that level of honesty that I always provide that it comes from a bad place, but it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like, I think sometimes all of us, including me, like, we need to hear things we don't want to hear. And, like, I would think there are some people even that work here that actually someone said it to me the other day, like, you told me a year ago to cut my shit and, like, just stop running away from my problems and sort out my life. And I've done that, and now I know exactly what I want to do. And I've really spent last year, doing that, and now I know. And it's like, I know you didn't really want to hear it at the time, but then look what you've gained from that.
And I think if they sit on it, reflect on it.
And I mean, to be fair, she didn't have to listen.
Yeah, she did.
But
so
she
that's
did.
Good. Win-win.
Yeah. So I think people think that it comes from a bad place.
And I don't think you're overly abrupt.
No.
About, like, with your opinion.
I can be.
Yeah, those people that are just like, this is my opinion and it's the highway, like, you need to take it. I think you're very much like, well, I'm going to tell you, and if you take it, you take it. If you don't, you don't.
I mean, I think I'm also open to what other people think too.
Yeah.
And, like, a different perspective. And I think there's nothing wrong with being opinionated as long as you also have perspective. Because otherwise you would just think you're right all the time.
I also think people come to you for your opinion because you are honest about it as well.
Yeah.
Which is great.
Which is probably a compliment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think sometimes I don't say anything, like, because I am opinionated. If I don't say something, people think that I'm, like, holding back. People that don't know me very well or have just met me. And sometimes I find, like, sometimes I've got to reassure them that we won't die wondering. Like, I'll tell you.
Yeah. Or I don't have an opinion on this.
Yeah. Or, like, because I really do sometimes believe, like, even if you have an opinion, like, sometimes it doesn't need to be said. So there is...
And you know your time and place.
Yeah, there's room for silence too. So, yeah.
Sure. I think this one's for both of us, is when we go to, like, a social setting or space or environment, we can be really withdrawn and closed off.
Yeah, or just, like, stay within ourselves.
Yeah,
like,
and I think that's true to a degree.
In our clique.
No.
We're not a clique.
I think it's just, like, a good example of that is when we go to the gym. We just go to the gym, we're there for an hour, and we've just had a big day. Because we always go to the gym in the afternoon, and usually we'll just go in. We're always late. It's just the people that we are.
And it's like, it's not because we're not friendly.
No, not at all. We have, if you want to have a chat, happy to, but I think it's just we want to go in, get out, go home.
Like, if you want to ask me how I keep my skin so youthful, I'll talk about it. Or if you have any questions, like, I will talk to people about anything. But, definitely find... Yeah, there are some spaces I will just sort of keep to myself. Yeah.
And I've heard people have told me, people have said that before. And I just take it with a grain of salt because I know that I'm not there. I'm not there to overly socialise,
Yeah, whereas I'm like, well, you don't talk to me.
Yeah.
When did you try to talk to me?
That's the opinion.
But no.
But then we know if we're going to, like, a networking event or somewhere or just to hang out with friends, we're social.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah, it just depends on the environment. And I mean, I'm not really fazed by that misconception because I know why.
I am. I get offended.
Do you?
Yeah. Don't make assumptions about me.
Yeah.
I hate that. But I think that's because I just don't like people that make assumptions about people.
Yeah.
Because...
You don't know.
No. Like, I know some very wealthy people that literally drive Mazdas.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, you don't...
And people would make assumptions about that. Absolutely.
Like, and they look homeless. But they're not. They got more money than...
anyone.
Yeah, I've had hot dinners. Like, and good for them.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't like people that make assumptions about things in general. Even though I can make assumptions myself. But I just keep them to myself.
Yeah. That's what you just got to do.
Yeah, I don't go around.
I don't walk
being
around
like,
the gym being like, oh.
Sam's a bitch, you know, talks to anyone.
Yeah. Or, yeah.
Because Sam's fucking tired. Do you know how many times of people Sam has spoken to today?
Yeah, and to be honest, most of the time I don't want to be here.
Most of the time, if I'm at the
gym,
gym, I'm out of fucking breath.
Yeah.
I don't have breath to speak.
I mean, if the workout's good, I'm probably more chatty.
If it's cardio, don't even look at me.
Yeah, if it's cardio, I understand why people think that of you.
Yeah, because my face says fuck off.
Yeah.
I think a misconception of you is that, so we often joke that your assertive tone is just the same tone.
Yeah, I don't really have one. Actually, sometimes I do.
We've been working on Tay's assertive tone for 5 years, and it's slightly different.
Slightly,
little bit. But I think that a common misconception of you is because you are so nice that you're you're a bit of a pushover.
Yeah, I can see that.
But it's just that, like, this is what I see, right, from the outside. Someone says something and you're like, okay. And you say nothing, but you just have this look and it's like, and I'm like, she's going to kill you. It's like death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
But you're silent.
Yeah.
And like, you will, if it's bad enough, like, dead to you.
Yeah.
But you just won't say anything.
I don't react.
You don't react. You just go in your head, fuck you. And you smile. And that's it.
Yeah.
Like,
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But I can be a pushover. And I think it's
don't tell everyone that.
No. To a degree. I'm smart enough to understand if you're taking the piss.
I'll fuck you up.
But I'm smart enough to understand if you're taking the piss. But if you get to my little heart, it's done. Yeah. Because I'm so empathetic.
Well, then you got a big heart.
I think that's actually changed over the last couple of years. To a degree. For certain things.
So you're less empathetic?
Yeah, I can be. Depends on the situation. Yeah, where everything I used to be like,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But now it's sort of like...
We used to have like hard conversations with people, and then Tay would be like, I was about to cry. I don't know how you're just so straight-faced. And I'm like, what? Oh my God, what's wrong with you?
Yeah.
Now it's like,
it is what it is.
Yeah. It's fine.
But yeah. But then I was watching like videos of owners with their dogs, like old people.
Why would you watch that?
And I was crying.
Everyone cries watching that.
Yeah, it's so sad. And then I watched an ending of a movie, like it just come up. Sorry about that.
Sorry about that. 2-pack. That's the part.
He's protecting us, but I don't know what he's barking at. I was watching a small clip on TikTok, you know how they come up, and it was the ending of a movie, and I was just bawling my eyes out. And it was Honey, the dancing movie. Here he is.
This is the big guy.
Big Dewey.
Stop making all that noise.
But yeah.
But I mean, the ending of that movie makes everyone cry.
Does it? I thought it was meant to be like happy.
Yeah, but it is.
It's a happy crying.
Yeah.
Like, I was just like, I'm so proud of them.
They did it.
Yeah, they did it. And when she's like, people just understand these kids, and they're not naughty kids. And I was like, oh no. But anyway.
Yeah. What other misconceptions are there about either of us? I think we both have resting bitch faces.
Yeah. I don't mean it.
Yeah, yours is probably...
I don't mean it.
I reckon mine's bad, but I reckon yours is worse.
Do you?
Yeah.
I don't reckon. I reckon yours is worse.
Is it?
Yeah.
Just sit. Just look ahead. No, I can't stop smiling. You guys be the judge.
You comment.
Yeah.
Whatever you comment on.
Comment who you think has the worst. I think I've got... Okay. This is a statement I'm going to make. You've got a worse resting bitch face. I have a more expressive face. So if someone is saying something and I think
yes,
it's
that's what
a
it
load
is.
of shit,
yeah,
I will just...
You don't even need to say anything.
No.
Yeah.
I just...
And you can't help it.
No.
Mm.
No.
Yeah.
So
well, I suppose...
You'll just look at people with no emotion.
Yeah, that's pretty cruel, isn't it?
It's just nothing. Whereas, like, if I'm going to be non-emotionless and, like, non-expressive, I've got to think about that.
Do you?
Fucking knows. Because my face didn't... Did you see my face just... the disbelief that you don't know that?
You're an emotion board. You know, people like, show me what's happy. That's you. That's your face.
Just like with confused looks.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I just have a more expressive face.
I think that's a good way to describe it. Where I've just got a resting bitch face. I don't mean it. I don't.
Listen to the empathetic one apologising to everyone. I'm sorry.
I don't mean it.
I'm sorry.
It doesn't mean I don't like you either. What's that? You're telling me I'm weird.
I'm saying that maybe she doesn't like you.
No.
But you'll never know. You'll never ever know.
No.
Because you will never let them know. Mysterious. I think Tay's very mysterious.
Yeah, I've been told that a lot.
Yeah.
And again, I don't mean to. I think I just pick and choose who I open myself up to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm the same. I've got a very small circle.
And
it's a privilege to be in that small circle as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other misconceptions?
Probably. I think people just misunderstand me in general.
Yeah. I think a lot of people misunderstand a lot of people.
Yeah, 100%. And I think, like, in general, the world would just be a nicer place if, rather than taking things personally, you took a step back and were just accepting of people for the way that they are.
Absolutely.
You know, and, like, all their weird, like, quirks and, like, whatever comes with that.
That's my favourite thing about people.
Yeah.
Like, I always choose, usually, like, if we're talking about someone that we both know, I'll go, I love this about them.
Yeah.
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 And it's usually a quirk.
Yeah, I think that you and I are both very like that, where it's like, I actually don't really remember last time I said something negative about someone that we know. Like, I don't really talk shit. Well, I do, but...
Not that type of shit.
Yeah. And if I got a problem with you, I'll just say it to your face.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't say anything behind your back. I wouldn't say it to your face. But, so, like, but I don't talk... I don't like everyone, but I don't go around talking negatively about everyone. Like, I don't care that much.
Usually I'll just say that it's just who they are.
Yeah.
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 And possibly they don't align with our values or my values. It is what it is. And then I let it go.
Yeah. I like weird and quirky people.
My favourite.
Yeah.
My favourite.
Yeah.
Because it keeps it interesting. They've always got something cool to talk about. And usually they make you laugh. Yeah.
And, like, but then I know I've got things about me that would absolutely piss other people off.
Absolutely. And I think everyone does.
Yeah.
But I think that's when people need to, again, sit back and be like, it's just who they are.
Yeah.
You're not going to change it.
No.
You don't want to change it because it makes them who they are.
And if
I get really angry about that, actually.
Yeah. But, like, if you don't like it that much, then just don't hang around with them.
Yeah. Just remove yourself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas,
but you don't need to complain about it and bitch about it.
Because they probably don't like you either.
Yeah.
Just get the fuck out of yourself.
And I think being in this industry, that's probably what I've learned a lot about. Because obviously you're dealing with many types of people and it's not just your staff, it's participants as well, where you need to find positives about them, especially
100%.
if you're getting called every name under the sun. Because you need to find something positive to keep that drive, right?
Yeah, and some of those names are pretty creative.
Creative. And mean.
Yeah, really mean.
Yeah.
Really, really mean.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's just, it's a lot.
Yeah.
No, but you get thick skin from it.
Yeah.
But yeah. Well, I feel like that's probably it for today.
That's it.
Probably a lot of more misconceptions, but
it's the list we came up with.
You guys be the judge.
Yeah.
Or if there's something that like you want to ask us about,
please.
About business, industry, personal, or things you might have misconceived on here.
Yeah, let us know. We'll happily answer it. If
Yeah.
you have a misconception about us, we'll
answer it.
Let you know if it's true or not.
Yeah. I'll give you my opinion.
Yeah. Well, Sam will.
Opinions for free around
I'll
here.
just sit here like.
Yeah. You get my opinion
Jokes.
for free. So, anyways,
We'll wrap it up,
that's us for today.
That's us. We'll talk to you next week.
Yeah. See you then.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.